Diego de Durán was a Spanish Dominican friar, best known for his authorship of one of the earliest Western books on the history and culture of the Aztecs, called The History of the Indies of New Spain, was published around 1581, and it was much criticized in his lifetime for, quote, helping the heathen maintain their culture, unquote. Sometimes referred to as the Duran Codex, contains 78 chapters spanning from the Aztec creation story until after Spanish conquest of Mexico, and includes a chronology of Aztec kings. Duran also wrote the Book of the Gods and Rites, an ancient calendar. His empathetic nature allowed him to gain the confidence of many native people who would not share their stories with Europeans, and was able to document many previously unknown folktales and legends that make his work unique. Duran was born sometime around 1537 in Spain. His family traveled to Mexico when he was very young. In Texcoco, a city-state known for its learning in the pre-Hispanic period, he learned Nahuatl. He entered the Dominican order and was sent to Oaxaca in 1561 after being trained in Mexico City. He resided for a time at a convent, or friary, in Oaxtepec, and there he found many informants within the church. He is believed to have been tutored by Dominican Fray Francisco Aguilar, who had been a soldier involved in the siege of Tenochtitlan. Aguilar later joined the Dominican order, and had much to tell Duran about the Aztecs at first contact. Aguilar was granted an encomienda after the conquest, but in 1529, 8 years after the fall of Tenochtitlan, he gave up his encomienda and entered the Dominican order. Aguilar spent the remaining 40 years of his life as a Dominican friar. Aguilar was contemplative by nature, and he brooded about the moral aspect of the conquest. He was cited frequently by Duran in his history. The convents had been issued a decree by Charles V to preach the Christian word to native rural villages, and Duran ventured into the villages frequently to converse with the natives there. The clergy were to also observe native customs and to search for ancient documents. He developed a close association with the people he was attempting to convert, which led him to criticize the clerics and conquistadors who never learned the natives' language. Duran was torn between the Spanish Catholic world and that of the native Aztec. On one hand, he respected them greatly for their government organization before conquest, and he grew to admire the people of Mexico, and often said so. On the other hand, he was repulsed by certain acts of his native informants, particularly human sacrifice. Another of his duties was to document the cultural ways and practices of the native people to serve as a manual to other monks in their attempt to evangelize the so-called heathens.